Knots. We're going to talk about how to make a white noise breakbeat. You can hear it in this track right now. All it is basically a slab of white noise with a gate chopping out holes in the noise, and the gate is taking an input. And this is what makes it really cool, is the input comes from another track that's in your song, like a drum loop or a breakbeat or something that you already have in your music. And when you apply it to the white noise, you get this scratchy, crackly layer that you can mix in to make your beats kind of cut through better, or you can actually just completely mute the original and have this really cool level layer of white noise rhythm happening. So I'm going to go inside Ableton and do a workshop for about half an hour and show you how to make this instrument and where you can download it from the Mixotexture member site. There's a version for Live 9 and also for Live 10 and 11. The difference is that one of them uses the analog instrument and requires Suite edition of Live. But if you don't have Suite, don't worry about it. Download the one for Live 9. It actually works with all three. And that comes with an audio file of white noise where you can just run that yourself. So how you doing? Let me know when you're here and where you're at. I'm just going to take 2 seconds to get my monitor screen up so I can see your questions. I'm monitoring in the Facebook group. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you need to get over to the Mixotexture Facebook group to be part of the ongoing chat. Click to expand. There we go. Cool. So say hi when you get here. Let me know where you're at. I'm going to hit the full screen button. Pyong. There's the member site. And there's the live. And there we go. So can we see that? We can see that. All right, here we go. So let's hear it. Now, what is this thing doing? Well, here's the white noise itself. And you know what? I'm going to mute some of our other sounds. Get rid of our lows and our synths. And now we're only hearing the percussion parts. And here's what we're starting with. Now, pay attention to, hey, Gabriel, how you doing? This conga loop, right? That's the source of our breakbeat. And listen to what we're getting from the white noise. It's the conga loop, translated as white noise. I love this. This came from this idea came from a Roland JP8080 that had a patch that just did this, and you like hold down a MIDI note, and you got this really cool scratchy white noise that you could filter and tweak, and it made the song so cool. But let me show you what I'm doing with it. So first, with the analog instrument, I'm gonna now I have to undo this whole thing. Okay, so now I'm just playing a basic MIDI note into the analog instrument. I have the oscillators bypassed. I don't want tone, don't want pitch. I only want the white noise. And you can see I mapped a knob to the white noise color so that we can kind of shape it. And that can be useful for doing a build-up or something. But that's not the core of the sound. The core of the sound is really what we're doing with the gate plugin. The other stuff on here is, I'll get to that in a second, about some mix tools for making a riser. And now what happened when I turned on the gate, oh, the gate is muting the sound. I don't have any sound coming from it. So what we're going to do is set the audio input to the gate as a sidechain trigger to trigger the gate to open. And now the breakbeat's coming in. Close that little scene. Let's make this really simple. We're only going to hear these two sounds, okay? Now we've got the white noise happening. The gate is coming in as a sidechain input to open. I mean, the conga loop is coming in as a sidechain input to open the gate. If I turn that off, we get no sound because nothing's opening the gate. The MIDI file is playing. I recorded a MIDI note so I don't have to hold down the button. So there's a MIDI note playing white noise. If the gate is not on, we just get white noise. It's not that exciting. But if you turn on the gate, nothing happens. And then we send the side chain with an input from the conga loop to make the gate open only when the conga loop has a transient or a volume burst or a sound that comes through to open it. So if you're watching and you understand that much, say yes right now. I want to make sure people are on the same page with gate and how that works. A gate is something that closes and stops the sound from coming through, and you can set it so that it's like the opposite of a compressor. When the incoming sound crosses a threshold, the gate opens. So I have one on my voice right now where the background noise is the fan like that. And when I turn on the gate, the sound goes away and you hear my voice without the background noise. So thanks for the yes, Gabriel, thank you. So gates are really useful for, they're usually called a noise gate, and you literally use them on mics to cut out wind noise, background noise, anything else. So you only hear the sound that you want, and you don't hear the sound that you don't want. Like with guitars, if there's like an amp hum, and you don't want the hum of the amp, you just want the guitar tone, you can use a gate on that. In this case, we're using gate as a sound design tool, and let's just put a different sound into here. Let's let me play a little beat. Okay, basic top loop, right? And this is track 4, drum rack. So what I'm gonna do is go back to my Breakbeat Maker channel, and I'll assign the gate input to the drum rack. And now you can hear that there's kind of a drum beat coming. And that's not that interesting for white noise. In this situation, I would use that as a layer to thicken the claps, where I want some crackle, some high end on the claps. And you know, that white noise by itself, I don't know if I would listen to that. It's not like such an interesting rhythm. That's why I like to pick out breakbeats, because when I pick the conga loop as the input source, it's like spitting and it's syncopated and it's in between, so you get a cool kind of a sound to play with. And let me make sure we know how to get that working. In this instrument rack, which you can download from the Mix Detection member site, and I'll show you how to do it. This is the one with the analog instruments. That's going to be for Live 11 for a Suite Edition, and I'll show you the sampler version. But the controls are the same. The idea is that to get the gate working, you need to have the input sound at the right level. So I gave you a knob for input that's matched to the input gain, and you want to adjust to the level of the sound coming in. You can look in that little tiny little meter to make sure you got green bars bouncing. Then there's a knob for chop level and chop detail, and that's for gate threshold and return. The threshold is where the gate opens, and the return is how long the gate stays open before it closes. So right now we got nothing because the threshold's too high, the input signal's not crossing it. What we're gonna do is, step 1, assign your input to come from your breakbeat. Step 2, check the gain, make sure it's nice and a nice healthy level coming in. Step 3, lower your threshold until the gate starts to open. And then if you want your white noise thing to stay open longer or have like longer durations of the pulse of sound or the burst of sound, that's where you can use the return control. And you hear that it makes like, kind of like extending the notes longer or making the rhythm less staccato. And you can really tweak it in nicely. Let's bring the threshold down, open the return, and if I open it too much, it's kind of just staying open all the time, which I don't want. I like it nice and short and choppy. And just for technical details, notice that the gate attack time is super short, hold is super short, release time is super short. You could also make a kind of a softer thing by opening the release time and get that thing that feels a little bit like if you're making a white noise snare drum or a hi-hat, that release time can give you a little bit of a little pulse. So there's that. Now, give me a yes if you're with me so far. We talked about how to set the input, how to control the threshold to get the chops happening so you get that static staccato sound. Now let's look at what else is in the rack. We've got some reverb, some delay, and these are all macro mapped, easy to control. Let's pull up the white noise controls. What if I get the delay coming in here? And a delay filter. I love this stuff. I'll just tweak this for a second. Watch what is happening inside the delay. Come on. Delay, wet, dry. And I map these so that when you put the macro knob all the way up, you only get 50% wet on the delay. So it's not going to wash out the whole sound. It's going to give you a nice blend. The filter lets you move the effect around. And then feedback, of course, keeps it extending nice and long. And that's a tool you can use in the track to add variation and make a climax or a little mini peak. So let me show you how I might use that. Let's say I want to create a build-up. Cut the kick drum. hit some delay, and then when you're at the maximum delay, bring the kick drum back in. Very simple way to create tension and interesting moments in your beats so your song doesn't get boring. Every 8 bars, you could like cut out the kick drum, tweak that delay, add some delay effects, add some feedback so the delay washes around, and then when you're done, you drop the kick drum back in, and bam, it feels like a drop. It's interesting. You can do it live, you can do it on the fly, or you can automate it to just make your track sound more exciting. Now let's get to the really cool knob, the one knob riser. Oh, hey, thanks for chiming in. I love when I see people commenting back so I know that I sound good and you can hear what I'm doing. Andrew Howard, grabbing this rack later today. Thanks for making it compatible with Live 9. Yeah, stay tuned. I'll show you the Live 9 version. Papa Cosmin, sounds good. Thanks, dude. Let's check out the one knob build-up maker, riser maker. I love doing these because everybody likes a white noise riser, right? I'm just gonna turn this one knob. Listen to what happens. Where'd the sound go? Pay attention to that power switch on the top left of the analog instrument. Let's do that again. Reset knob, start sound. Riser's coming up. Watch that power switch on the top left. Okay, so I mapped the power switch to go on and off. What else did we map on here? I'm gonna open up the macro version, mapping mode, so you can actually see. Now, can I tweak this while mapping mode is open? Yes. All right, awesome. So another thing that happens in the risers, and I love talking about this stuff, when we're in track feedback in the live streams, we've been reverse engineering buildups and stuff, and we ask questions like, okay, I hear a sound changing while we approach the drop. What's happening? And it could be like Scott Burke pitching the ride cymbal to go, have the cymbal go up in pitch approaching the drop last week, or something having like a high-pass filter that comes up on the whole track as you approach the drop. So you're like, oh, the bass is gone, the bass is gone. It literally feels like you're going up in the air. And then when the bass comes back in with the kick drum, you get anchored like, poof, pip clip. So I was sitting on the main page saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, gotcha. Oh, here you are in the group. Yeah, thanks. I tried to put the video out to a bunch of places at once. So we're gonna automate the high-pass filter as well. So as we are bringing in the one knob riser, we got a high-pass filter acting on the sound. The delay is not part of that. You got to do that with your other hand. What's happening in the reverb? The reverb dry wet is going up. And I believe the sound was getting quieter. One of the things about a high-pass filter is you cut out the low end, the overall volume goes down, which can be kind of like making the sound disappear out of the mix. And I didn't want the sound to disappear because it's a riser. It's getting attention at a dramatic moment of tension in the song. So I added some automation in, oh, that's in the Live 9 version. I didn't do this in the Live 11 version. Shoot. I automated the volume in the other one. So there are the automations, or the macro mappings that you can see on the left side of the screen. Let's play through that one more time and see what it does. And there's one other very important one that I forgot to mention, which is the whole thing that makes this work is the noise floor in the gate plugin, which is right down here. That controls the relationship of how much the gate is happening. It's kind of like a wet dry for the gate. Let me bypass all these, and we're just going to hear the noise floor effect. Think of noise floor in the gate as like a white noise. It's changing the volume of the open gate versus the volume of the closed gate. So as you raise the noise floor, now the gate is opening and closing, but it's so close to open all the time that you almost don't hear the difference. Another way to think about this is when you have static or fan noise in between a vocal recording, the noise floor is high. The fan is literally a noise, and I want to cut it out. So I use the gate to get rid of the noise. Right there, that's too much. And it's like interrupting. If you cut it out too much, it interrupts the voice, so that's not good. So lowering the noise floor is like a technical use of the gate to make the audio that you want sound better, like your vocal. And for sound design purposes, when we change the noise floor, we get the riser, and the whole white noise riser sounds like it's coming in as a normal riser. And that's what makes this feel like a wash of a wave coming up underneath. And then we add in the auto filter and the reverb tail. Oh, I automated auto filter drive. That's where it was. Watch the drive knob. That's where we get the makeup gain. So to correct for the drop in volume from the raise in frequency. We get the drive from there. Sometimes I can't talk while tweaking knobs, so sorry about that. Pivclit saying he's going to replace the analog synth with different other things. No way. Could be a cool alternative to LFO tool. Yeah, you could run this with a melody or chopping anything, or like, I bet you could get some cool psytrance vocals where you have that, like the person's doing the ohm, but it's like with all kinds of filters. I love this sound. I especially love how you can use it as a riser by using that one knob control, and you can tweak some delay and everything. Let me see if I can do a riser run with the delay coming in. So I'm going to add some delay, keep the feedback up, and do a riser just to demonstrate. All right, here we go. Nope, guess not. Okay, here we go, riser and delay. And what's fun about that is it just keeps going. When you raise the feedback on the delay, there's more sound echoing into the reverb, so the reverb tail has more to work with, and the sound just keeps going. That's a fun little kind of masterclass on risers with delay and reverb. Now, if you don't have the Suite edition, you might feel like you don't know what to do. So I'm going to answer that question right now. What do you do? The basic problem is the starting point is we just need a white noise sound. So instead of having the analog instrument over here generated, this is an actual synth generating white noise, and you don't really need to generate white noise for this instrument or sound. What you can do is just do it with, let me make sure I got a MIDI clip happening here. And let's mute that one. Okay, same thing. What's it coming from? Let's reverse engineer that again. So we're going to undo the gate. Now we've got raw white noise sound coming from a sample. Totally simple. I just simply sampled it. And again, we have a color shaper that I just got from a basic bandpass filter inside of Simpler. And I mapped the ADSR envelope to be very hardcore, like start instantly, stop instantly, to give you that very staccato, sharp kind of thing. And we've got the power switch mapped again to the on-off to just deactivate the sample. So we basically get the same thing. Now we have the gate coming in from the conga loop, and all the other controls are the same. I think I labeled this one a little bit better, where I labeled it as gate threshold and gate return, because that makes more sense than clip. Well, it tells you exactly what's happening with chopping the clip. Then we've got the auto filter, same as in the other version. With high-pass filter shape, map the drive on the vintage circuit model. We've got a delay coming in with, get my controls. Let's bring up some more feedback on there. I love filtering delays. It just always sounds good. And then the one knob riser coming in. And it dissipates into this epic swell that goes away into space. So that's basically it. 12:19, I got that through that really quick. I wanted to do these, I like doing workshops, but sometimes a 90-minute workshop is like a little too much for people to watch during the day. So if we can keep it short and snappy, that's great. Let me know if you're getting this. Papa Cosman saying, oh, this riser is totally sick. We got Ian Waters. I ended up on my own. Oh yeah, you guys are in the wrong, yeah, sorry about that, okay. Yeah, Ableton delays are amazing. I have fun with them all the time. So let's, geez, my broadcast windows are kind of overlapping my live windows. That's why I'm being kind of derp. All right. that one up there. What else is in the track? So I just put that on there to have a little background music while we go to, I want to show you where to get this, okay? So here is the Mixotexture member site. It says courses.mixotexture.com. And these instruments are in the section called free presets. To get there, what you do is, that's my demo version. But what you do is you sign up here with your email and your password if you have a user account already. Or if you don't, you click in the free presets section and there's a little green button that says sign up here. This is super easy. On broadcast, it's kind of glitching out a little bit because I'm broadcasting and doing a bunch of windows at the same time. But you click the sign up button and a little window pops open. You just put in your name and your email address. That's it. And you click yes and you click sign up and you get in instantly right away. No credit card required, none of that kind of stuff. And I'm going to sign in with my test user account. .steve@gmail.com. So I can show you what it looks like. So here you go inside the site, the free preset section. There's instructions on how to work with presets if you haven't used that before. It's so easy. They're tiny files too. You just download them and drag them, drop right into Live. There's a section on bass instruments, and here we are in synth instruments. So you click into that module. And this platform is set up to be an online learning thing. So it's got like the course, the modules, which are like chapters, and the lessons, which are like paragraphs in the chapters. So inside synth instruments, we've got the WhiteNoise Breakbeat Maker. And there's a little screenshot of the rack and a SoundCloud player of what it sounds like. And here are the downloads. So for Live 11, the L11 one is going to be the analog synth. You need to have Ableton Suite Edition to use that. And if you want to use it with Standard Edition, download the second one. I should label these Standard and Suite, not Live 9 and 10 and 11. But anyway, when you download the Sampler Edition, you should also download this raw WhiteNoise sample, because you know when you open up a project in Live and you get the orange bar at the bottom that says sample files or audio files are missing? This WhiteNoise sample is the audio file that goes with the sampler instrument. So you drag the sampler onto a MIDI track in Live, then you drag in the WhiteNoise sample, and let's go back to Live. And then what you're gonna see is WhiteNoise break. I'm not totally sure everybody knows how to do this. You're gonna see this sampler instrument. You have to actually drag the audio file into this little section of the window to get the sound. That is what's gonna make it come through. And to actually use it, you also need to have, it's a MIDI instrument, remember? So you gotta hold down a MIDI note and send some kind of MIDI into the instrument. So here we are on the WhiteNoise breakbeat, and it's just a drone note, like literally somewhere. Or on the other channel. And you know, imagine like if you're doing it with an actual keyboard, you hold down your finger on the keyboard to play the WhiteNoise, and then when you assign the other input sound, that does all the chopping and stuff. So after you've got your instrument on your track, the next step is to go to the gate section and pick a drum loop from in your song. It can be any input you want. It should be a rhythmic input because you want the gate to chatter back and forth and open up and close and make it kind of chopped. It might be fun on vocals if you had somebody really like beatboxing or something. I don't know if a lot of people do that. And I like breakbeats because if you're doing it, well, using it with breakbeats is how to get like a very unique WhiteNoise sound that can stand on its own in the track without anything else. We can mute the congas and have the WhiteNoise thing sound really good. All right. Why did I lose my sound? Did I lose my riser turned up? Having a derp moment. As I was saying, when you have breakbeats, you can have the WhiteNoise sound stand on its own as a cool little sound in the track. And from there, tweak the filter during the song sections to add interest. Bring it up to a peak. And what I was doing there was I was changing the frequency of the noise color at the same time as making the build up so that you hear the frequency going up. It's great. You can combine all these layers. So that's what it's all about. If you have any questions, let me know right now and I can answer them on the Facebook group chat. Ooh, pivclit. Yeah, you could replace the analog synth with any other VST you want. Yeah, totally. I like making instrument racks that have delay and reverb built into them, because then you get this whole nice sound all together. And that's about it for this time. This is Wednesday Workshop. And while we're here, while I have you all watching, what do you think about the that we had a little chat in the group this morning about mixing with drum racks? Some people were asking questions about how do you mix a drum rack? Like, what do you do with the samples to make it balanced inside of your mix session? So I'm thinking I'm going to do a workshop on mixing with drum racks, because for me, it's basically just another stereo mix. It's like a subgroup with a couple different rules, but you basically approach every sample or drum pad in the rack the same way you approach a track within a track group. And you've got a sample, you can drop plugins after each individual sample. You can go to the drum rack itself and put some plugins after it to have like a two mix, like a stereo mix. And I would like to teach mixing for drum racks, so let me know if you're interested in that, and I can work that in maybe next week or maybe later this week. Pivquick comment, it creates the human touch to the hi-hats that are insanely time-consuming doing on your own. Yes, man. I wouldn't even call it a breakbeat, just groovy and not sounding like a machine gun. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so hi-hats, the swing and the micro timing on hi-hats is absolutely a fundamental part of the groove of any track. And if you were trying to like take WhiteNoise in the timeline and cut it into pieces and line it up exactly with the hi-hats, you're gonna lose your mind. So, you know, using a gate input from another sound is how to get automatically instant synchronized timing with whatever kind of off-grid quantization you're using on your swinging hi-hats or your ride cymbals or your snares or anything. Let me get back onto camera land because I'm feeling like I'm wrapping it up. So the ways that I would use this are, number one, to thicken up a snare drum and claps, where you just simply take the take the 2-beat, the 4-beat, the backbeat, send it into the WhiteNoise thing. You get a WhiteNoise layer that's going to follow the exact micro timing of anything else. So whenever you edit that snare and that clap, the WhiteNoise is going to follow it, and you can thicken that sound up with a scratchy kind of high frequency thing to cut that sound through the mix. So you can have a heavy dark clap and still have like on top. Or if you want to use the WhiteNoise thing as its own separate rhythmic part of the song, then assign something that's not on the downbeats. Make sure the WhiteNoise stuff is coming in between all the beats. Hand percussion, drum loops, congas, bongas, djembes, those kinds of things are really, really good for that. Wood blocks, cowbell or whatever, anything that's like syncopated and offbeat would make a great input to the WhiteNoise breakbeat maker, so that you get some interesting sounds that are just popping through outside of the mix. And I think inside the sampler instrument, I even mapped, I assigned the LFO to pan position, so it starts gradually drifting during the song and just kind of doing like a left-right kind of thing, which is kind of fun. There's so much fun stuff you can do with sound design using the basic mix tools. I mean, volume, pan, filter frequency, those kinds of things. That's all it is. And then after you've got your WhiteNoise sound working in the track as a rhythmic layer, then you can take it to the arrangement dimension, start tweaking it live by tweaking the noise cutoff frequency or center frequency for the bandpass filter, tweaking the delay to add some delay and change the feedback at epic moments of the song to echo it, and just, you're drawing attention to it. That's what you're doing, is making it sound like it fills up more of the space. And when you really want to head into a breakdown, you can turn up the one knob riser, the noise floor comes up. It's like a wash of white noise comes around and disappears into a bloom of reverb that can leave you a great place to cut the kick drum and have a breakdown. Or if you're coming out of a breakdown and you're approaching back towards the drop, you can use that white noise riser to go whoosh, poof, and have the kick drum come back in. Super simple. This is not really complicated stuff. I know it might look complicated with all the macro knobs and mappings and everything, but if you follow the sounds of how it sounds and why it sounds like that, then all you have to do is download the instrument, play with those 8 knobs, and it should be working. If you have any problems getting it running, let me know, send me a private message or whatever, steve@mixitexture.com. You can email me. The sticking points are usually dropping it on a MIDI track, activating the track, getting a MIDI note coming in, and assigning something to the gate sidechain input. Once you do that, it's a charming little device, works like a charm, and it's lots of fun. So, Pip said, go ahead with the drum racks. Yeah, I think people would dig that too. So thanks for watching. Today is Wednesday, August 11th. Let's work on doing Wednesday workshops. I really like doing workshops midweek and talking about what I'm producing, what sounds I have. I get ideas from people in the group during our Saturday streams, and then we can teach a little bit more during the middle of the week of how to develop the ideas that we pick out from people's tracks on Saturday. So this is a nice format for me. Hope you like it too. Thanks for watching. I am Steve, and don't forget to comment on the tracks and track feedback. See you later.